making some minor adjustments to the curbing to allow for a driveway opening that we approved. And all he could say with any kind of certainty was that, and I'm not speaking for him, mind you, I'm just reporting the conversation. All he could say with certainty is that it was a consensus between both sides that a guardrail would probably not be appropriate. So if this, under those circumstances, so if this is helpful, fine, but maybe it would be better if we would ask Max, the village engineer, for a written statement.
Were comments in the conversation?
Well, he and I may have talked about that, but more importantly, we talked about the fact that a mature tree or bush might offer the same level of security. It's not like for against errant vehicles. It's not like the situation is a T intersection where oncoming traffic is directed at his property. It's parallel traffic on what is the street. So and again, I'm not trying to minimize let's say our authority in this matter, and I'm not trying to encourage as I said, any flouting of our recommendations, but it was something that was described as a reasonable field change. And like I said, if I remember correctly, there were some field changes that we had suggested that weren't in the plans that we approved yet had been implemented by the builder. So I took that as a sign that our village engineer was certainly mindful of our wishes, and that he promptly reported them to the builder, who was equally receptive and mindful of our requirements. So does that where we're
So like there's recognition that the residents have a unique set of circumstances and problems, and
right. But if
we'll forward it.
You know, I am not speaking for Max Massey, please don't misunderstand me, but I did have the conversation, and Max is, in my opinion, is always very adept at responding in a very thoughtful and reasonable fashion. And if you're looking for clarification from him, you know, you should explicitly say, hey, Max, give us a one-page report, please.
So you want us to approve them or postpone them until we hear back from Max?
I think you can approve the minutes, but do you want this to be part of it?
Correct.
Have this to be part of it?
That wasn't the conversation in the meeting. I wouldn't have attached
Okay.
that. That's an afterthought. That's good reasoning and a good request for the report.
But
I mean, we didn't say this in the meeting.
I could take this to Max and have him respond.
I mean, we asked some of these questions in the meeting, but it's not by any means the minutes.
So we should approve them as presented, and you'll talk to Max.
Okay,
Yes.
All right.
Is that okay?
All right.
so moved.
Okay, so we have a motion to accept them as
Discussed.
discussed. Motion by O'Brien
And I'll second it.
and a second by Ken.
Member Alfonso,
Abstain.
member Bransky,
Yes.
member Cap,
Yes.
member O'Brien,
Yes,
Chair Zuniga.
Yes,
Thank you.
let's see, next is anybody in the audience have anything they would like to bring up that is not on the agenda tonight? If so, raise your hand, please. No? All right, we will then continue to our next item. Which is case number 2435, site plan review for Ollie's Brunswick Zone at 3041 to 3045 West 183rd Street. And it's a site plan review. Have we received any comments from anybody in the area?
Not at this time, no comments were received.
Okay. And this was not necessary to publish.
Correct.
Is there anybody in the audience that's going to be speaking on this? You're going to?
Yeah.
Okay, come up to them.
You want to speak on the Ollie's case?
Good evening, committee members. I represent the property at Ollie's.
Okay, so we have your name and address,
My
please?
name is Sultan Patel and Livingston Park. And represent the property at Ollie's. Yeah.
Okay, and you swear the testimony you're gonna give is gonna be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
So I represent the property. We are doing a demolition and pretty much Ollie's is ready to be occupied. We finally finished up the parking lot asphalting and pavement. The side lot, which is the west side entrance and the east side entrance. And they are planning for their first merchandising trucks to be coming in on Friday, starting Friday. With a grand opening scheduled for October 14th.
Okay. Any board members have any questions or comments they would like to present at this point?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Go ahead.
I have a few comments and questions. We've established a policy of requiring existing commercial uses. Even ones that may have had paved surfaces for, I'm gonna use the word generations, to provide some sort of enhancement to the stormwater storage. Familiar with the concept?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so on page 16. I'm going to read something to you. The village engineer has requested an underground detention system with a manhole tied into the existing storm drainage structure on the southern lot line of the property. You're to provide the applicant, that's you, to provide a restrictor pipe to manage the flow rate into the existing drain. Blah, 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 blah. Are you prepared to do that?
Yes, we are, that is, as we had a reporting for that, with the phase 1 and the phase 2. That was pushed because of the Ollie's construction. We had to do it for the third phase of the
Mhm.
construction. Where our engineers did the certification and they figured out what is the required rate. Of water discharge that needs. As being the property, the way it is, it's an old property that we have very limited. Area in the back of the property to do any of that detention work without disturbing the MWRD, which is a very tedious process. And also we have a very short allowance of 0.5 allowance for any disturbance on the property. And if there is anything more than that, then it triggers the whole civil architectural format. Is this exactly what I'm being told by the engineers themselves? So looking at that context, yes, we are, I plan to work with Mr. Max, the engineer from the village, as we said, did that with the parking lot. He expects us to do a 4-inch of millwork, and also looking at the bedrock, we got a third-party certification company to certify that the bedrock is completely good and satisfactory. After putting some extra stones and some work to make sure that is right. We finished up that, so we're true on what we plan to do on the first phase, and the second phase. And that is definitely pushed for the third phase.
So you talk about these phases, could you
Yes.
describe what they are?
So phases are, the property is divided into 3 phases. The first phase is Ollie's phase, where they come in because it is governed by the lease, they had to open it on a certain time.
Right.
So we got them going first. The second phase is the other 2 units, which is the east side of the property, which is you can see the color difference. That will be constructed with the vanilla backs and the parking lot completely done on the second phase. From the east side, parking lot and the landscaping also will be incorporated with that, including the lighting,
So aren't you doing some resurfacing work now?
which is only for the alleys area of entrance and the exits.
Don't you run the risk of possibly, if you haven't finalized your plans for the stormwater storage, don't you run the risk of maybe having to redo some of these things?
We had tentative plans in place of how we were gonna do it or which area we're gonna go
So how
through
are
it.
you gonna do it?
With oversized piping or retention, underground retention, the 2 options available. with that.
Here, see, let me step back here.
Oh.
We're looking today on our agenda, we're looking at the outlets.
Okay.
But then we're also looking at the Starbucks. It's almost as if we're being, this is being divided and conquered.
I can speak to that, so. If you recall, we subdivided the property into 3
Right.
lots. So lot 1 is the area that is the entire building.
Mhm.
Now, we've had several meetings, staff wise, and you've had a lot of meetings with Max, our village engineer right now. So the thing that was decided is he had, Silken has given us all of his plans. All of the plans have been approved, but what we approved was staging the building permits and the way that the building was done. So everything is planned, as an entire site for his lot, which is lot 1. But we are allowing building permitting in stages.
Okay, I understand that, but.
So the drainage is all planned for the whole site.
Okay, however, given that, when I had a conversation with Max late in the afternoon, he said that he understands this phasing, but he hadn't seen quote unquote final plans. So, to be honest, I don't really care how you accomplish what you said you're going to do. I'm just asking the question to ensure that it will be done. That's all.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
good enough for me.
Okay,
And for the lot 2, that's referred to Starbucks, that's referred to Mr.
That's the
Buckley.
next case.
Yeah, just.
And, my comment is you're certainly astute enough not to booger up any of your improvements that you're doing now for Ollie's in phase 2 to accomplish what you're promising here.
Yeah, we haven't touched that either because we were planning to do that, so there's no point doing it and then refixing it itself, so.
Sure. Great.
okay. Member O'Brien, do you have any comments?
I just have one question for clarification. On page 14, the last sentence of the site details paragraph, it says the applicant does not propose the construction of additional structures on the site. Wouldn't the Starbucks and the other restaurant be considered outlets and structures on the site?
That is a different site, different owner. So he owns lot 1, lot 2, and 3 are owned by separate entities, and they are considered new construction. And so they have to meet all of today's standards. So those are not part of this project.
I see, okay.
Anything else, Mr. O'Brien?
No.
Member Bransky?
No questions or comments at this time.
The only question I have is about signage, and it says that, the village has issued sign permits for Ollie's, but is there going to be signage available for the Bevdas and whatever?
Yes, we have two sign poles. One is given to our lease as part of the lease, and the other one will be shared by two tenants.
We share it, okay. Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, I've got a question for you. On page 16, it talks about utilities. Each tenant will have individual water service. You're gonna go through with that and everything. And it was also recommended that the fire hydrants be moved.
This has already been moved,
Yeah.
and the water lines are from the front side of the building now.
Okay, that's already done.
So we can cut that whole water main loop coming through. So that's basically garbage at this point. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody in the audience have any questions or comments about this particular item? Yes, sir.
Anthony Hawthorne, 300 Kathleen Court. So you own, you're going to. Okay, so, no problem.
Thank you. Thank you, Sam.
I can,
Sorry, no further.
no, not a problem.
We're gonna swear you in also, sir.
Sure.
Would you like a chair?
I'm fine.
Okay, great.
Anthony Hawthorne, 300 Kathleen Court, Homewood, Illinois.
Okay, and you swear the testimony you're gonna give is gonna be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Go
So I'm just curious, so you own the building, the whole building? And do you know what other facilities are going to be in that location at this
Just
point?
one tenant for now.
And,
The other
but,
tenant that we still looking for.
and will the village have to approve who those other, other will be?
Yes, yeah,
Okay,
It
No.
depends on the use.
Yeah.
So if it's a use as of right, then the village will approve it through staff or a business operation. If it's a special use in our code, then it'll have to come back here for the other village.
and will the residents who live in that Pinewood subdivision, which is where I live behind there, be notified of what those businesses will be and be asked to come out and hear what you guys say about it?
Only if it's a special
Only a special use. Okay,
So if it's a business permit, right?
thank you.
okay. Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Yes. We're gonna ask you to state your name and address also, please.
My name is Marilyn Wells and I live at 18310 Robin Lane in Homewood, Illinois.
And you also swear the testimony you're gonna give is gonna be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Okay.
I have some concerns. Prior to this new development that's coming on board, there was the Brunswick zone. And it was a very bad noise problem. And it was also a problem with people congregating and drinking in the parking lot. I was told that in addition to Ollie's, that there's going to be a liquor store in part of that large
One of the
building.
spaces.
Yeah, one of the
for a liquor
spaces.
store, yes.
So one of my concerns is noise, and I was wondering, is there going to be any kind of measures taken to mediate the noise that's going to be brought about as the increase in traffic might cause? Has anybody thought about that?
You have an answer for that, Angela?
Yes, yes.
So the business, which is gonna be Bevdas, which will be my own personally,
Mhm.
I've been in Homewood since 25 years. Running a business itself, with wine and spirits. Pretty much never had any issues with anybody hanging around in the lot or with noise, because ours are retail packaging, not on consumption. Where you sit and drink and, party and anything, it's more of a package tour, so people shop in and shop out right away. Security wise, yes, it's a big store, it's 25,000 plus square feet. So definitely you'll have multiple security stationed in the store just to protect the business itself and also the property around it. While I own the property also, so it'll be my prerogative to also police the lot itself to make sure that everything is taken care of. Otherwise, it comes to me directly anyways. So yes, it is definitely taken into consideration.
So there won't be crowds congregating outside the establishment after they make their alcoholic beverage.
No, they usually sit in, they're supposed to be taken in and going out right away. It's a package, yeah,
Not consumed, but
package.
congregate. Okay,
It's strictly carry out.
yes.
okay, okay. The other question I had, or the other concern that I had was the increase in traffic. Living in Pinewood condominium, we're directly adjacent to that property. And I was wondering, have you thought about how the increase in traffic will affect the residents that are in that area?
On the traffic wise, I don't,
Where are you at? You're in Pinewood?
Pinewood condominium,
That's on.
Robin Lane,
behind,
Robin
just
Lane,
behind.
right
Just
behind.
behind.
Yeah, sort of behind, but yeah, there's a fence. I can see their parking lot. I can see that building.
Right.
And
Okay.
we live like on Matthew and Robin Lane. There's 7 units, 7 buildings, and each one of the buildings have 12 units in them.
Okay.
So we exit on 183rd Street and we exit on Kedzie, which are basically 2 main thoroughfares. And I was just wondering if the increase in traffic due to the new business establishments is gonna make it more difficult, to access those main thoroughfares.
Hard to tell until those
Well,
places are actually established.
Brunswick zone.
Well, that was kind of a different animal though.
Well, I
being
realize
bowling alley
that,
and
but we've
everything.
never really had a liquor store and, that close of a proximity to where we live, so. I don't know if that's gonna cause any problems or not, if that has been considered. And the other question I had was about the lighting of the property, because in the back of the building, all of those lights are out. Are those gonna be
They'll be
turned
all replaced.
on?
They're all gonna be replaced with more lighting coming in.
Okay.
So they're gonna be adding more on top of what it is already there.
And are you guys in control of the fencing that goes?
Everything will
around?
be redone. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Um. Those were just my concerns, the noise, the traffic, and the lighting. As a resident and a homeowner.
Well, which is understandable. When it was the bowling alley, you could actually sit in the bowling alley and drink, liquor,
Uh-huh,
whereas it's not going to be the case in any one of these other businesses.
good. So with security, they won't be out in the parking lot popping cans, will they?
You have to call the police if they're not.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think I called so much for the Brunswick zone that I think they started blocking me. When it gets to the point where you can't go to sleep or you can't hear yourself in your own house, I think it's a problem. So, but I'm very happy to see the new redevelopment. And I want you to know that, but I just had some other
No,
concerns.
it's well noted.
Thank you.
The
Okay.
police department has your phone number.
Yes, and they also have my picture. That's why I get blocked.
Well, thank you. I hope we answered your question satisfactorily.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
we'll see how it all turns out, but I'm glad to see the redevelopment because that property has been vacant for a long time. So it'll definitely make the atmosphere and environment look a lot nicer. So, and Ollie's already looks nice. I've been keeping track of it in the paved path of the parking lot, and you're on the way to working on the other. So other than the noise, and I'm not complaining about the construction noise because I know that's temporary. And we all know that any situation is temporary, but it's bearable. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes.
Hello,
You have your name and address also, please?
yes, Candace Wilson, 3026, 183rd Street.
And you're gonna swear the testimony you're gonna give is gonna be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
So I have a few concerns. I second your concern about the noise. When Brunswick Zone was there, I could hear people's conversations in my house from the parking lot. So the noise travels directly across the street. I do see in the plan that there will be some landscaping installed, so hopefully some of the greenery will help with the acoustics that's generated in the parking lot. So the noise level is a concern, loitering is a concern. This past summer, right after the school year, there was a huge party in that parking lot where there was like 200 kids causing commotion. The more that we start to redevelop this area, there will be more activity in the area. The kids are looking for somewhere to go. They're gonna be hanging out. And then litter is also a concern that I have. I get the cart wipes from Jewel in my yard all the time. I'm constantly picking up wipes. So with businesses reopen and close, there's going to be opportunities for litter, and I'm just hoping that we take care of that and provide receptacles, have services cleaning the lot, making sure that the homeowners aren't being impacted. I probably missed this vote, but I am concerned that we're opening up another liquor store. I know the other Bevels is not in Homewood, but it's right down the street. And then Armanetti's is in Hazel Crest, right across the street. So we're surrounded by liquor stores. I don't love that idea. So hopefully the business will be run in a way where your patrons are respectful and not hanging out in the lot, drinking, not littering, not causing commotion. It's a great concern that I have being directly across the street, the commotion that could be generated in their lot.
Okay.
And then a huge concern, kind of in line with that, is security. There was just a robbery at Ollie's this week. And I did catch camera footage. I can't, the footage wasn't enough to identify anything, which is very unfortunate, but I caught a lot of commotion going on over there. And I'm concerned that once there's merchandise in these stores, now that the neighborhood has changed a lot, and we know that this is something that people in the area are capable of. Once there's merchandise in there, I'm concerned about safety and security. So I would hope that you all have security in the lot, have security in the stores, and then even maybe some bollards in front of the door so that people can't just ram their cars into the glass would be also a great idea.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? No, okay. Board members, Mr. O'Brien, do you have any questions or comments you would like to have?
None at all.
Okay. Member Cap?
Just for clarification, you said you own an existing business in Homewood?
Yes.
Could I ask that again?
Homewood Alien Liquor
Which is
on Halsted.
the one on Halsted?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
Member Bransky?
Nope, I'm good.
Member Alfonso?
Nothing more, thank you.
And I don't have any other questions at this point. Nobody else in the audience has anything up at this point? Okay. So is the board ready to make the recommendation? If so, I will entertain a motion for case number 2435 of site plan review for Ollie's and Brunswick Zone.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'll move to approve case 2435 site plan review for 3041, 3045 West 183rd Street as proposed on the drawings submitted by Daniel Weinbach and Partners Limited, PFDA Architects, and John C. Robbins Architects, subject to the following conditions. Number one, a revised photometric plan with photometric values and lighting products for both Lot 1 Ollie's and Lot 2 Starbucks, compliant with all village codes and ordinances, shall be submitted before the issuances of building permits for Lot 2 Starbucks. Number two, a revised site drawing, including the location, dimensions, and details of proposed stormwater improvements, shall be submitted and approved by the village engineer prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy for any additional commercial tenant. And number three, a revised utility plan, including revised water service lines and relocated fire hydrants, shall be submitted and approved by the village engineer prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy for any additional commercial tenant.
Second that.
Okay, we have a motion by member Alfonso and a second by member O'Brien. Roll call?
Member Alfonso,
Yes,
member Bransky,
Yes.
member Cap,
yes,
member O'Brien,
Yes,
Chair Zuniga.
Yes.
Carried.
Thank you.
there you go.
All right, next is for case number 2430. We're gonna do 2431 at the same time, correct?
30 and 36.
30 and 36.
All right, that's is for a special use permit for a drive-through facility. This one was published in the August 28th edition of the Daily Southtown. And letters were sent out to property owners within 250 feet of the property. Have we got any comments back on them?
None at this time, no comments were received.
Okay. And we have the petitioners here tonight?
Yeah.
Correct.
Good evening, how are you tonight?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. Okay, we're gonna ask you the same questions, but state your name and address for the record.
George Arnold, 9501 West 144th Place in Orland Park. And I'm the attorney for the petitioner.
And you're also gonna swear the testimony you're gonna give is gonna be the truth, all truth, and all.
I do.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
So the staff report was pretty complete on both these matters, the site plan and the special use to allow the drive-through. It's a pretty basic Starbucks, current design. It's a well-known brand. I'm sure everybody's, seen them around. So it's pretty standard in terms of their size and the way the drive-through is laid out. It's got a bypass lane. I think it stacks 12 vehicles, which in their experience is more than sufficient. With the main, I shouldn't say main, but one of the ingress egress off 183rd Street. And this is on, by the way, the outlot on the northwest corner of the Old Brunswick property. So there's a separate outlot from the alleys, and that's where this one lies. So, like I said, my client's project team has worked pretty closely with staff. And as you can see from the staff report, I think we met all the requirements, and happy to answer any questions.
Who would like to start the board?
Well, my concern's always with the drive-throughs. are related to pedestrians crossing over the lane there to from their parking, if they're walking into the Starbucks and the drive-through lane is coming around the building. It seems, it's always a concern of mine that somebody's gonna get hurt. And I see that the parking is, a lot of it is in front of the building, which would be good, because that's kind of separate from the two drive-through, the ingress and egress of the drive-through lane. But, is there any thought to doing something that could make sure that people are noticing somebody could be walking across your lane as you're in the drive-through?
So I think, I mean, your concern is our concern as well, right? I mean, we
Yeah.
don't want anybody to be hurt. And I think the plan, as you've indicated, does kind of make sure that there's not a lot of that crossover, right? Because there's a sidewalk around and where the main parking is to the east side of the building.
East side.
You know, you don't have to, there's no conflict with the drive-through. So I think, once you finish drive-through, either turn to the south outside and go into that parking lot, or you proceed down what is a drive aisle. So just a normal drive aisle that, everybody has to pay attention in drive aisles. So we think the plan provides for that, but always happy to, hear suggestions and happy to implement, other safety measures. We're happy to hear whatever anybody suggests. So.
Well, by the suggestion, I give it to you. I'm sorry. I know that the drive-through is essential for the Starbucks. I mean, and this drive-through at least is a little more conventional than the one we have in our downtown Starbucks.
And the one on Halsted too, for that matter.
Oh, really?
Oh. You ever been there?
The one on Halsted? No, I'm talking about the one on Harwood.
Well, the one on Halsted's
Yeah.
terrible.
Well, then thankfully, this will be a lot easier to negotiate. But yeah, we're happy to have Starbucks there and look forward to it.
Thank you.
You have a 5-foot wide walk, with this curb head. You can the parking lot across the drive. And
But yeah, but
This
doesn't
is
say
not-
that, yeah, what's it gonna tell that guy who's right there?
there's gonna be striping.
Okay,
It's not a difference in materials,
Yeah.
but
they grab their coffee, they're looking at their coffee and. Yeah. But you gotta be careful, that's all. Caution. That's it. Thank you.
Member Bransky?
I don't have any questions this time. I've reviewed everything and pretty straightforward.
Member Cap?
Questions and comments. So, more comments than questions. It appears that you're using, just for the record, to make everybody aware of it. The stormwater storage is, underground chambers, ADS Corporation. The outlet for them goes to the 183rd Street storm sewer, so God's knows, heaven knows well with the world. My second comment is, I'm sorry that Mr. Patel has left. I should have brought this up earlier. Big picture kind of thing. It is clear that your site plan, let's say, improves the separation between your property, your outlot, and not only the rest of the center, but equally important from Jewel to the west. And I mention this only because there are nothing but benefits to this. It's just that it's gonna, however, in my opinion, enforce a little bit of discipline on the people who are accustomed to cutting across parking lots to go to Jewel. So, not your problem. Hope it isn't ours in the future, but it's a good site plan. And I wish your client well.
Thank you.
No more comments.
Member O'Brien?
I've just got a couple of things to clarify, if you would. Um, Actually, it might be with staff. On page 30, number 10, it says the drive-through use does not have direct ingress or egress onto a public street. But on page 28, it identified that the site has approximately 143 feet of frontage along 183rd Street. So there is ingress and egress off of 183rd onto the site. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Commissioner O'Brien, so on page 30, the main point of reference in responding to the special use standards is ensuring that the so the drive-through use itself, which does not have direct ingress or egress onto the public street. The site itself does, you mentioned the 143 feet of frontage and the existing driveway that will be used as that main point of site access for this. The staff comment here on page 30 was mostly to identify that since that drive-through doesn't have direct ingress or egress onto the public street, you have to go into the site to get to the drive-through. We felt that the drive-through met the special use standard. It's not going to create, backups out into public right of way that you might see with, say, some drive-throughs in Chicago on some very tight sites, things like that. So that was the purpose of the staff comment in number 10.
A good example would be Harwicks.
Yes.
Yeah. Or Halsted,
Low-
Halsted for that matter too.
Right.
Second item, page 28. Top of the page, documents for review. It shows for Shrimp Shock Architects renderings. But on page 31, in the findings of fact, it's identified as a lighting plan. On the second case that we have not taken up yet for this particular property, on that page 45, it lists both a lighting plan and renderings by the same architects. So I just want to clarify which is correct, the findings of fact, or is it renderings? That's listed on page 28.
It's probably followed by. So renderings.
I just review and make sure I respond accurately.
If you take a look at the other case we haven't taken up yet on page 45,
Right.
it has the same architects providing both renderings and a lighting plan. I'm just trying to clarify which is this on this particular case.
The for I think where the error would be under number 8 there in the findings of fact, that would have to be corrected. It's through renderings, I believe.
The other lighting plans will be considered under the site plan of your house. So, yeah, that would be something.
The findings of fact would be correct, lighting plan.
No, the renderings would be number 8 should read for the third bullet point, renderings
Okay,
prepared by Shamrock and Associates and Architects Incorporated dating 8/15/2020.
okay, that was my question.
Yes.
Correct.
I thank you. I have no other questions at this point.
Okay, I have two. You mentioned drive-through. You will have indoor seating also, correct?
Yes,
Plus, looking at your photo, you're gonna have an outdoor patio area,
yes,
okay. And that will be screened away from the parking area also.
Fence.
I'm sorry, I didn't get the last.
Your patio area. Okay, based on this picture here. Which side of the building is the patio going to be on?
It's on the east, I think, right, Angela? So,
Yeah, the east,
I believe it's the
Side.
east, yes.
gotta be the east side.
Okay,
Actually, maybe the north side.
Yeah, north.
North.
North, yes,
North, right.
yes,
so right in front of the building,
Right.
correct.
okay. I don't have anything else. Anybody in the audience have any questions on this? Yes, sir. You can say where you're at. We already have your name and address.
Okay. How many, disabled, parking positions will be made available?
I think there's one per code. I think we have one. Is that correct?
Correct,
Yes.
just one,
And it meets the code
yep, it's the one loan space on the.
on the north side of the building.
You got one.
That's a pretty large lot for one spot.
Right.
I mean, just keep in mind, it's just the, it's not the whole Brunswick lot. It's only the outlot, which covers the, covers that northeast corner.
Because even your, well, your company doesn't own one Arwood. There's only one space there.
Mhm.
And that space is never there. I mean, that. I'm sure it's a done deal now. But I'd like to bring it to your attention.
I understand. Thank you. I mean, our goal is always to work with staff and meet the code, which is what we've done, but I certainly appreciate your concern and I appreciate the, I'll take it back to my client, but I think this is a pretty pretty contained spot, and I think, at least in my client's experience, they've not had issues with not having enough spaces, but, I will certainly bring your concerns to their attention.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To answer your question, sir, I own the lot to the south of the Starbucks on Harwood.
Yeah,
It was formerly a Hallmark store.
right,
They always use our,
but you gotta sign that say you're gonna ticket us, so.
they don't read signs, but they always use our handicap parking spot.
Okay.
Ours is used more than the one that's in their lot. Or Starbucks. Anybody else? In the audience? Yes.
I do have concerns about the drive-through period. I don't know the idea of the drive-through.
Could you stand up? We can barely hear you. You can stay there if you just.
I have concerns about their name, the drive-through. Will we be discussing lot 3 during this meeting, or is that another meeting?
There are no plans yet for lot 3. When we do have plans for lot 3, we will come back to the plan.
Okay. So the way that this is configured, I didn't hear what your answer was to the pedestrians crossing over the drive-through from the parking.
Yeah, my answer was that I think the design of this, takes into, I mean, there's always gonna be some crossover, right? Because it's the nature of cars coming in and out, people getting from parking lots and going through drive-throughs to the building, but this design, I believe, and I think staff agrees, the best that it can avoids any conflicts that there are. I mean, you're pulling into a stripe space. When you pull in and go to the drive-through, you're going immediately to the west, and there's really no conflict there, caused by the drive-through, because there's really no pedestrian traffic there. So, I guess at most when you're coming and exiting the drive-through, there may be some conflict there, but I think, there is a sidewalk area when you're going from or a designated area when you're going from the parking lot, and I think it's pretty standard, as standard as any other drive-through.
Again, I need a little help understanding how these plans are, because it looks like all of the spots are to the east. So 100% of the pedestrians getting out of their car will have to cross the driveway.
Yeah, you're right. What I meant was when you're coming in off the street, right off the street off 183rd, and you're turning to the west, you're not in any conflict there. When you come around, you make your order, and the natural flow of drive-through when you get up to the pay window, you're going slow anyway, right? So that's where the people cross, right in that area.
Okay. It looks like there's a break in the landscaping. Is that going to be a sidewalk? We would want to encourage people to walk directly into the.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Is that you're talking about here?
Yeah.
Oh, in the middle there, that's not a sidewalk, that has to be there for drainage purposes out of the drive-through. Yeah, the sidewalk is up at the top there.
It's up here.
Yep.
Okay. Will the Starbucks that is downtown will still be there? We'll have 2 Starbucks in town.
Great.
3 Starbucks in town. And then I'm just concerned about the Starbucks tenant as well as the lot three tenant. If they move out, will there be another review for whatever the new drive-through tenant will be since the drive-through will already be approved?
The drive-through, no, there will not be another review for the drive-through.
So it could be any restaurant with the drive-through that moves into there. Because I'm concerned about how many fast food places there already are around here. I feel like it is, we're inundated with all these fast food places surrounding us everywhere. So if there's no further review, anybody can move into that space, and I don't think that that's necessarily healthy. I think that's all I have.
Anybody else?
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
How many parking spaces are there?
There are,
25.
And one. Handicap spot.
I get 24 counting Panic, but I,
24 plus one handicap.
On the northeast corner, there's one lone, one.
Ah, yes.
Next, right there.
yes. I knew you'd be right.
I missed it too.
A total of 25, including the one handicap.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Can someone explain what the ratio is, what's required for the amount of spots?
It's a state requirement of the Illinois Accessibility Code.
I will look that answer up for you. I apologize. I don't know if I have a document up there, but I pulled the code and give you that answer. Thank you. Yep.
Anybody else?
Nothing.
Are we ready for a motion?
One last thing.
Yes, sir.
Will there be bike racks there?
Are you planning any bike racks?
Do we have them in the?
Yes,
I
there'll be
forget where.
two U-rings that are on the northwest corner of the building, near the front patio area. Right near the ADA spaces, but not interfering with the ramp for it.
There will be something
Yes.
for bikes, okay.
I do have that table, by the way, from the 2018 Illinois Accessibility Code. So 1 to 25 parking spaces required for a building, 1 space is provided, 26 to 52, and it steps up every 25 spaces through much of the code. So about every 25 spaces, you have to have at least 1.
Yes,
Just one more, just to second what I said about Ollie's, to make sure that there are plenty of receptacles in the lot, in the store, to encourage people not to litter. Because if there's no opportunity for them to put it in the right place, they're gonna drop it on the ground.
No question. And the site, the appearance of the site is very important to Starbucks as well. So they make sure that their sites are kept clean. But you're right. I mean, you have to stay on it. So.
I do want to clarify that the requirement for the ADA spaces is a minimum. They could, the developer, the applicant could always add more spaces. The requirement for number of spaces by our code is 13, so they do exceed our code.
When you say over 13 and have more than 1 space?
No, I'm saying that, they have extra spaces, so that 1 space is a minimum.
Okay.
But the developer can add.
Right.
They can add more, we don't require it, but they could.
I mean, I know you're not developing.
Yeah, I'll bring it to their attention. Sure. Yeah.
Be friendly to the community.
Understood. Yeah. So they're interested in having their experience at Starbucks be a positive experience for everybody. So they take things like that into consideration, and I'm sure they will when I predict them.
Thank you.
Well,
I must say they do a very good job with the one on Harlem. I'm not that familiar with the one on Hall Street.
Thank you. I have nothing to do with it, but I'll tell you,
And keep that name, you know?
Yes.
Anybody else on the board? If not, are we ready for a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion, to recommend approval of case 24-30 to grant a special use permit for a drive-through facility in the B3 General Business Zoning District for Starbucks at 3047 West 183rd Street and incorporate the findings of fact into the record, including the amendment to number 8, changing it from a lighting plan to renderings.
Okay, you're also going to include case number 2436, the site plan review?
We're approving both at the same time?
Yes.
Oh,
Is that all
yes.
right?
Do you have any questions on it?
No, do we, is that all right?
No. And in approved case 24-36 site plan review for Starbucks at 3047 West 183rd Street as proposed in the drawings submitted by Arc Design Resources, Inc. and Shrimp Shock Architects Incorporated.
I'll
Okay.
second it,
Mm,
both of them. I'll second both of them. Or if there's one more.
Member Alfonso,
Yes.
member Bransky,
Yes.
member Cap,
Yes.
member O'Brien,
Yes.
Chair Zuniga.
Yes,
Case is carried.
thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have some set up to do for the next case.
All right.
And our next case is 2432 and 37. For apparel redefined.
Aha. We've got our siding, okay, good.
Yeah.
Against the wall, so that.
This is good to see.
Oh.
Yeah, seats would be great.
Nope. Friend of the block with you. Been a while since we've had exhibits.
What?
So it's been a long time since we had exhibits.
Show and tell.
Zoning, new zoning ordinance approval, as I recall.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was Age of Valerie.
Well, maybe we should just go this way, just to avoid blocking, Seth and
Yeah, we don't want to block that.
Commissioner. Yeah, let me move this table maybe slightly, don't want to block this.
Alfonso, she was very upset when you did that.
Well, I'm looking forward to this.
Here, if I push this back.
I love the screen.
I just have to make her. Irritation. Oh.
Now, is the presentation ready? Should I pull it?
Yeah, it's on your PowerPoint there.
Is it right there?
Yeah, you'll grab the one that says apparel redefined on the left there.
Okay,
There it is.
and then. I guess we don't need to share it on Zoom. There's nobody on there.
All right, we're ready for whichever boards you'd like to add here. Right, those that look pretty, was that gonna overlap too much?
You sure that works?
Yep. Oh, then we're gonna turn these 100. These are turned towards the public, which way should we, it's gonna be tough to get both the public and,
Can you just make?
You're gonna have them on the
parallel
screen.
walls? Way you put them up against the wall so everyone.
Sure.
can see.
you're about to do that, yeah. Remove that whole table if we wanted to. Property open. Why don't we present first and then I can go turn the lights on once the presentation's done because it's hard to see the screen that if it's okay. If the lights are on. Okay.
Ready? Okay.
We're ready?
Now, does this mouse advance? Okay. Cool. Thank you for your time. My
Are
name
you
is,
gentlemen going to speak also?
if they have answers.
We're available to answer questions.
Because we'll swear you all in at the same time. Okay, who wants to be first with the name and address?
My name's John Leroy. I live 156 or 15620 Oak Park Avenue in Oak Forest.
Okay, and you, sir?
Bruce Roth, I live at 743 Selborne Road in Riverside.
And you, sir?
Joseph Pileski, I live at 237 Gage Road, Riverside.
Okay, and all three of you swear the testimony you're gonna give is gonna be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Okay. So you're gonna start off.
Yes.
Okay.
Make sure there's a remote in the remote here you can use to change slides as well.
Here. So again, my name is John Leroy. I lead the team and the owner of Apparel Redefined. Just want to thank you for your time and consideration. Again, just want to give you a brief overview of my company and the plans we have in Homewood. So Apparel Redefined, our tagline is we help our clients sell more and stress less. Our vision is to be the nation's premier athletic apparel decorator. Real quickly, what we do is we put logos on things, mainly in the athletic space. We decorate for Under Armour, Adidas, and Nike are our big three clients. We do a lot of stuff for HF High School. But essentially, we want Chicago in this area to be our headquarters, and the vision basically set in place by Amazon is last mile, right? So we want to have one location in each of the 7 UPS ground zones across the United States to be able to service the high school, grade school, and collegiate communities faster. Essentially, our company solves problems with sourcing and producing custom apparel, custom decorated apparel and promotional products. We help our clients sell more and stress less. What do we do? A lot, right? When I started back in 2005, we just did screen printing. We were located in Bridgeview. We had 3 employees, myself being one of them, and we started adding decoration types as technology and demand. So we have different names for a lot of stuff. I don't know if the board wants to see it, but I created a quick 3-minute video that kind of shows all the services we offer if you're interested. If not, we can continue.
Yes.
I have a question.
Sure.
I wouldn't mind listening
Yeah.
to watching you.
Okay. You gotta hear me talk more, so bear with me.
This is the fastest way to generate almost cost-free electricity for life.
It's not,
What if the ground?
it's not how we produce our electricity.
Yeah.
Apparel Redefined utilizes many different styles, processes, methods, and techniques to apply logos to things. We strive to stay on the cutting edge of technology and continually research, test, and include the latest and greatest techniques for our clients. We currently offer a very robust repertoire of decoration styles and options to meet and exceed our clients' unknown and known needs. DecoForge is our design creation service. We perform all of our outward creation and recreation in-house. Our talented design team is ready and willing to turn your ideas into a reality. Nomos enhances our DecoForge team by keeping art approvals and communication siloed with each piece of art. ProPrint is our cutting-edge screen printing service. ProPrint is the culmination of over 50 years of screen printing experience. We only use the highest quality inks and equipment to ensure the best possible result. Our fully digital screen prep process reduces screen creation time, which increases output and enhances our ability to turn jobs quicker. Swift Stitch comprises our embroidery and twill service offering. Our embroidery and sewing team are highly skilled. They utilize the best equipment, software, and techniques to deliver high-quality logo perfection in every polo, hat, jacket, bag, and on-field uniform they create. FuseFlex is our thermal digital printing service geared for very detailed designs and small runs. This is a perfect solution when traditional decoration methods simply won't produce the desired result needed for the unique application, placement, garment, design, or all the above. FastFlex is our thermal transfer service for small, simple orders and personalization. It offers our clients a budget-friendly option to personalize garments when cost and speed are major concerns. QuickPack is our order fulfillment and finishing service where we provide a full retail experience for our clients. Retail is dying, but e-com is thriving. We provide the complete cart-to-customer experience for our clients. LaserDeck is our cutting-edge laser engraving system that allows us to personalize and brand hard goods such as tumblers, yetis, coasters, wood, plaques, acrylic, stainless drinkware, and even glass. Transfer is our screen printed transfer service that we provide our clients for those hard to decorate garments and specialty use applications. DigiPrints is our screenless, direct-to-garment digital decoration solution. Our clients will never have to worry about missing an order or meeting minimums ever again. This technology allows our e-com clients to eliminate the need to hold inventory and still be able to go from cart to customer inside of 48 hours. Banners is our digital printing service for vinyl signs and canvas prints. You probably heard me say by now, at Apparel Redefined, it's not about what we can do, it's about how we can do it better. It almost is how and where better.
So yeah, so that's just an overview of the services we offer. Is actually two more that aren't talked about right now. It's a new technology called BTF, direct to film. But we're continually adding to the toolkit. We want to be the best contract decorator in the country, and having all the services for our clients will help us do that. Our industry is very labor intensive. We started with 2 people and now we have just over 60. We're currently in a hiring spree right now, probably gonna add 6 to 7 more. But all of our leadership have been with the company for at least 7 years. We promote from within. We have essentially 6 different layers of leadership up to the current team right now with leads, supervisors, and managers. And everybody's local. Our team, this is just a demographic of our team. We are a very diverse team and very talented. The 57 is a couple months old, but the vast majority of our team is full-time and hourly. So there's a lot of opportunity for overtime. Just another demographic cross-section of the team. And you can see we are heavily Cook County. We do have some people come across the border from Indiana, but the vast majority of our team is within a 25-30 mile radius of where we're currently at in Crestwood. We do work with a lot of community organizations. We just finished our 4th 6-week internship with BCS, where we have individuals that are interested in a career in manufacturing come to the facility. It's a federal program. They get paid by the federal government, and it's a great recruiting tool for us. We've actually hired on at least 1. This most recent round, we hired on 2 after a 6-week internship program, where at least 6 or 7 kids come in, anywhere ages from just out of high school up to 25. Safer Foundation is a program that gives opportunities to people that have been incarcerated, and we've been working with them for about 8 years. And then we currently have children or individuals with disabilities that come in through the District 230 program and MCIP as well. When they learn their job skills, they come in for about an hour and a half a day, and they do tasks around the shop with job coaches, and we've hired some of those individuals part-time basis as well. These are just some certifications we've earned over the years with some SBA programs and some local programs. And now about the building. So if you guys are familiar with the site, there's the existing office building at 1313 175th Street. And our vision is to have a cohesive look from the office building to the new manufacturing facility. We're connected with a glass walkway. And we have some ideas, and what you see in front of you are we're asking for an accommodation for a steel building. Where the building is currently situated, the front of the building will face East Hazelcrest, And with the advent of the steel building technologies, these are not the steel buildings that you saw from 15, 20, 10 years ago. So the steel panels that you see there, and I'll show you a couple more pictures in the slide, they're more representative of a precast look without the precast cost. So we feel that the front of the building is essentially too, with how far setback it is from the street and all the shrubbery we're gonna put in. We wanted to make it look as nice as possible. We feel that this is the most economical way to do that and structurally sound. Also, our vision, again, to make it look like one cohesive unit, we have the existing brick building. We would clad or paint the existing brick building to match the steel look, so it all looks like one continuous development. Yes, this is more what is on the poster board, and these are some initial elevations that were drawn by architect Bruce Roth. These are some 3D renderings to kind of show the future existing plan or phase one of the plan. And these are some pictures of the steel company that we're working with, some existing buildings that they're currently building with those 3 panels. So the panel all the way to the left that has this textured pattern here. It's called the stucco pattern, and essentially all those panels that you see there have that stucco pattern. You really can't see it, and I show you a close up, but what it does is adds a little more structural integrity to the panel. It's kind of a side view, but again, it looks like a precast building. They have, 2 stories in there. This is what the inside, this is building 3 that they're currently building. And if you look at the picture on the right, that's what the wall looks like after they put all the insulation. So you don't see any of this, the steel membering. The same thing, it'll look the same on the ceiling as well. So it's a really nice, clean, bright look inside with all the white reflecting. And it'll be excellent lighting for what we do because everything we do involves color. This is that panel on the right, up really close, I'd say within an arm's length, where you can see the stucco pattern, but obviously from anything farther than 2 feet away, you're not gonna be able to see it. But it also, again, helps give that look of concrete. Any questions?
Okay.
What's that? Yeah, it's easier to see, I think. I forgot to do this, so the next meeting, I think we got October 2nd to 4th. My steel contractor is actually gonna build like a 6-foot section, because the plan is, if you're familiar with like 4-4. Yeah. Those buildings, so I really like those colors, and those are our company colors. So the bottom from the ground up until about 13, 14 feet will be this darker gray color, and then it'll be a strength about this height of red, and then ash gray to the roof. The plan is also, I have another panel here. The front of the building will have better, so the front of the buildings will be the flat precast look. And then the 3 sides, or the 2 sides of the back will be that panel, it'll be this color here. The reasoning is too, from the west side of the building, that's where we plan to do phase 2, which phase 2 will be doubling the size of the production facility. You can see in this landscape plan, but this is phase 1, and we plan to do phase 2, so this wall here will eventually be knocking out.
Yeah.
So the back of the building here, no one would see. And this side of the building, most of it would be covered up because you have the last walkway about halfway off the side of the building there. Yeah, so these are the panels here, you can see. Structural seal with that stucco look. Like I said, the next meeting, we're gonna have actual drawings with the color, the exterior color of the building, with the window placements. Because we are putting a lot of windows on the south and north side of the building. South side will allow for a lot of natural light coming in the back of the building. And yeah, we'll have the actual cross section of what the front of the building will look like built out.
Mr. O'Brien, would you like to start with any questions or comments?
Why not? I just want to compliment you that you have a well-crafted presentation. not only tonight, but the materials that we received from you.
Thank you.
And it's a pleasure, I've done this for a few meetings and it's a pleasure to go over the material. I do need to clarify a couple of items. Just a small thing I discussed with the director earlier. On both of these cases that are listed, there are 6 pins. And not all the pins were listed. And on the face page. And I wondered why, and it's just apparently an oversight, nothing to it.
We are,
Pins 47 and 48.
okay.
Apart from that. The only real question I have is unless I'm looking at something wrong. Page 114 states that the separate building that you're taking over and renovating is 8,900 square feet. But when I look at the site plan, it says has existing as 4,999. What am I reading wrong?
And I believe that, obviously the site plan shows us the footprint of it. It's a 2-story building. So the site plan would show the footprint, which is like 4,900, and the total square footage includes both floors.
No, I understand that. I thought about that too. So
But that's
4,999 twice would be 10,000 square feet, not 8,900.
Oh, I actually can clarify this. Which drawing are you looking at? On which page are you looking at?
Page 114 is where I started.
Okay.
That's not a drawing.
Okay.
It says then to renovate the 8,900 square foot office building directly to the east at 1313.
Correct.
So that's what I'm working off of. But then when I go to the drawings, I can't connect that to a specific drawing.
Right, which drawing were you referencing in that?
I don't know right now.
Okay.
There's so many.
I will note that if you take on, say, a site plan drawing for the proposed development. The first floor, including the connector building, the bridge that goes between the two,
Right.
you'll get just around 10,000 square feet. For those 2 areas together. I'd have to look at what drawing you're looking at specifically, but.
Okay, so you're adding the connector.
Yeah, so
Along
on
with that.
page 86, I think it is, it says there's a 526 square, page 86. So it describes a 9,526 square foot 2-story building, so. That includes the connector as well as being
2 stories.
The existing.
double the footprint, is that? That's, I think, what Bill is asking.
Okay. So the figure we're going to pick up is what, 9526?
Well, that's what it says here, but, you know.
It's not the figure on the site plan, though. That's the
Yeah,
figure
that's
that-
my point. It leaves you questioning the 8,900. I mean, I see your point. I had the same question.
Yeah, and the site plan does not agree with the material.
That the 8,900 square foot, comes from Cook County records. It's not consistent probably with the actual square footage.
Okay, something to pursue. I do have one question.
Absolutely.
In another life, I
Okay.
did drive big trucks,
Okay.
semis and
Sure.
tankers and so forth. And I'm looking at the site plan.
Mhm.
And I'm wondering why the shipping and receiving, which would be semis, are turns as opposed to straight on. There's a time efficiency, regardless of how good the driver is, you're still turning. Everything takes time. The efficiency of motion coming in. It takes longer to go through this circuitous route rather than a straight shot off the street.
Mhm.
And I just wondered about that.
The main reason is we don't get a lot of semi traffic. I'd say during peak season, it's possibly 2 to 3 a month. The vast majority of our deliveries are standard 28-foot box trucks. And they're able to maneuver a lot easier than a semi.
Okay. Semis were drawn on the drawings, so that's what we're saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I have no other questions.
I really like this plan. I like the connection of the existing building and your new production space. And I really like the mezzanine path
Yes.
up there
Mhm.
where you can see.
Nice to oversee the whole floor, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
and I think having an outdoor area for your employees to have a little break time, I
Yeah.
think that's a great idea there.
Yeah, I think they'll use the Isaac Walton Preserve a lot too.
Yeah.
Walk around the break, yeah.
And then you're having your art department basically in the
They'll be in the office.
office
Yeah,
building.
art, sales, customer service will all be in the office building.
Uh-huh. And then you're gonna paint the building, because it's pink right now, you're gonna paint it to,
Either paint or clad it, we'll
Okay.
take the existing steel and we'll match up obviously all the color lines and
Mhm.
again, have the cohesive look on the fronts of the building.
I like that too.
Yeah,
You would probably stain it.
Oh, you should, yeah.
Looks better than paint.
Uh-huh,
That lasts forever.
Yeah. Great.
If we did do it.
yeah.
Mhm. And then the additional parking that you're gonna move to make it cohesive with the existing parking, I think that makes sense.
Right.
And I know you're not gonna have that many clients coming to your place, right? It's just,
It's not, yeah, I mean, we have a little retail showroom, but the vast majority of what we do is B2B.
right,
So there's not a lot of incoming traffic.
Yep.
Walk-ins are always welcome, but yeah. Absolutely.
and then you have an embroidery department and a print.
Embroidery will be in a new production facility, digital screen print, warehousing, fulfillment, folding, packing, all in the new facility. Yeah.
Look forward to having you guys in the area.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Member Bransky?
Hey, good evening. I got a couple questions for you. The separation between you and the Isaac Walton Preserve. You've got a proposed berm
Mhm.
on what would be the south side.
Yep.
What's the height?
Whatever the max we're allowed, I think right now it's 8 feet.
It's part of it is that we don't have a lot of space back there, so it's not gonna be super steep. The idea from the berm was also to save a little bit of fall off as well. And there's a lot of, there's a lot of vegetation back there. You really can't see, I don't think you're gonna see the building from the pathways. Yeah. But I think that the consideration was mostly to try to save a little haul off.
Mhm.
And use some of the soils on people on site, basically, but it will also, provide a little bit of screening if necessary. But you're thinking. Right now, 8 to 10 feet would be pushing it. Based on the width of this, of the back.
Yeah.
The
Higher you go, the wider you go. What kind of lighting are you gonna have on that south side?
We have the photometric plan. I'm not sure if it was in there,
I
but
was looking and I didn't.
okay.
Gotcha.
Downward facing
I think
LEDs.
it's pretty minimal on the
Yeah.
back side. There's there might be some exits required back there, just because of the size of the building, I think our. Plan was just to light those, I don't think there was really any lighting to speak of on the back side. Because it's not really a public site, and there's not really a lot of people back there, so we didn't really want to shine a lot of lights on the.
That's what I was asking.
Okay.
What kind of industrial waste do you produce?
Industrial waste, plastic, cardboard. We have Safety Clean and we have the other name of the service that is escaping me, Crystal Clean, so it is. And they come every 4 weeks and do the solution removal and recycle. We use an environmental friendly, like back in the day it was parts remover solution. Now it's a water soluble solution that breaks down the plastic cell hank.
So, and that's how you're disposing of ink that you don't use or overspray or product that ends up on the floor or whatever out of the process.
Or reclaiming,
Or reclaiming or recycling.
yeah, reclaiming
The reclaiming the screens is all
the
water,
streets, yeah.
and we have machines that recycle that water. But then all that water is safe to go down the drain. We currently push that down the drains in Crestwood right now. Ink, plastisol that gets spilled on the floor, or buckets of ink, they go in. It's essentially like paint. A safer paint, actually. There's no phthalates and there's no plasticizer in it anymore, so they pull that out, but that goes in the regular garbage.
So it's VOC compliant. So where is your refuse and your garbage being stored?
It's a good question. Right now, it's currently located next to our loading docks.
On the front side
Yeah.
or on the east side or?
But with us having the drive-in door, we could put it. I guess we have to talk to Homewood Disposal, which is our current service provider, or they would prefer it,
And neighbor.
and neighbor, exactly.
Yeah.
Hopefully future.
So it's not back behind the office building or on the back side of, or I should say, the forest preserve side of the property.
No, we'll be back there.
There's a dumpster right now at the office building and kind of where the middle corner of the office really meets.
Yeah, that's right.
That may not be adequate. There's a lot of loading dock space and it's drive-in on that side of the building, you can drive in the loading dock, so I think that.
Most of the garbage is plastic bags that Nike and Under ship all their product in.
That's all I have at this time. Thanks.
Thank you.
Or your packaging when you're shipping things out,
Mhm.
do you use air packs or
No, not for.
what type of packing?
Mainly just, we actually recycle the bags and pack them into other bags for. You don't really need to insulate, apparel, but when we ship out, ceramics and mugs and stuff like that, we reuse how it comes inbound to us. So we don't really purchase a lot. If we repackage, it's based on the client's specifications, so we'll use their custom tape, their custom bags, their custom boxes. But mainly tape and plastic and cardboard are the main things we use.
Okay, yes, I thought you had. The plastic that you use, is that recyclable?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Because I know a lot of companies are getting away from the peanuts and
Yeah, we don't use.
all the other stuff.
Yeah,
That's not recyclable.
no, it's a mess. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, Mr. Cap.
No problem. Good evening. So I have some questions. I don't think I have a comment. No. Does your steel cladding or your steel building have a name, a brand name?
Who's your building
material.
manufacturer?
There's still,
American Steel.
might be American,
Yeah.
but I don't know if you get it.
No, I haven't. No, there's two major suppliers that they use. One's American Steel out of, I believe, Central Illinois, and the other one is out of Iowa. But
So there's a fabric, the installer is the guy that's providing this. stuff,
correct,
right?
yeah.
He's got a couple different guys he goes to actually.
And then just for clarification, your existing office building. Are you just gonna clad the sides that are visible from the street, or are you gonna do all four?
If we clad, we would only clad the side that's visible, and we
Okay.
stain the rest.
Okay,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
for clarification.
Right.
As I recall, but I did not research this as thoroughly as I should have. When we adopted our new zoning ordinance, we had, as I recall, 3 levels of appearances that we encouraged petitioners to comply with. And they, as I recall, those 3 levels of detail. I'm gonna say corresponded to the different categories of our zoning classifications. So for instance, as I recall, and please correct me, in our B1 commercial zoning district, which is for the most part downtown and perhaps something on the Halsted corridor, it had a higher standard of attention to detail, let's say. Not just materials, but finishes, appearances, yada, yada, yada. As I recall, the manufacturing district, of which this is a part, was in that third tier. So my question isn't for you, but for our staff. I'm just curious, how does this comply with the intent of that ordinance? And I don't mean this in a negative way whatsoever, because this is clearly, you've spent a lot of time thinking this through. It's a very innovative approach. God bless you for it. It'll look really nice. I'm sure it'll work, serviceable and blah, blah, blah. But I'm just curious how it conforms to our requirements in that regard.
Yeah, the material is actually, not tiered in the same way. So, yeah, but I think if you look at the overall design for all of our design standards, this would be the least restrictive manufacturing district.
But,
So yes, that would.
but does this approach to their facades comply with that? That's really the essence of my question. It wasn't clear to me, to be honest, maybe to get more direct. It wasn't clear to me that a steel clad building was acceptable. I guess that's where I'm going.
It is not.
It is not.
It's a modification that they're asking for.
Okay.
Standards.
There we go.
Clarification, okay.
Let me ask you, is there a building that you know of that's already built using this material? And where might we find it?
Canadian National Railroad has about 200,000 square feet, but they're with the corrugated. Everything on the north side of 175th that Homewood disposal has is all sealed. And then I think there's a tire shop actually on Halsted, either Midas or Meineke, that's also steel. There's probably like 7 or 8 within the village that have more of the corrugated look, not the flat precast look.
Okay, so it's already here in Homewood.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. And the first spot you said was the train yard?
Canadian National, yeah.
Okay. All right,
That
thank
would
you.
be some of their maintenance buildings as
Correct.
opposed to their office.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think Alloy Sling Chain has a mix
sure.
of steel.
But
and
that's
precast.
East Hazel Crest, right? With regard to the burn, I mean, I understand perfectly the burns are always a way to waste whatever you strip off the site. I get it, but at the same time, using your neighbor to the west as an example, they probably did a similar approach, and they pushed it up pretty steeply. And you could go steeper. I mean, you would know that if you think about your permanent ground cover, that would stabilize the soil and blah, 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 blah. Have you, and I'm trying to visualize it because I usually walk or run there every morning. I don't think there's much room that you could maybe ask the village to borrow some property to, to get your width of the berm, because what I'm really looking for, it would create a nice appearance if the top of the berm could match
the top, the top of the roof line.
Berm to the west.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
Talking about the berm at the abandoned street.
No, I'm talking about the berm behind
Homeward disposal.
Homewood Disposal,
Oh, okay.
There's a berm.
all the way around. So you know, you could figure, work it out.
Okay,
And I'm sure,
So
yeah, I didn't really know.
the berm was sort of was kind of 11th hour design. You know,
yeah, but it's a good idea.
Civil brought, I think,
Yeah.
to the table and.
Yeah, why haul the stuff off and it's,
So
you know,
I'm not against the taller berm, I just.
it'll actually fit in, but you may need to do something like ground cover to stabilize the soil. Okay, let's see, I do have another question that really has to do with your business, and you could laugh, I don't really care. It seems like the stuff that I watch on television, the ads are for imprint. So I'm just curious, and you can say, go fish, I don't really care, but how does your company, your business compare to them?
There's, to compete against them.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah, they're the people we want to take down.
okay, because I mean, they had, if I remember correctly, they had, I'm gonna say kind of local routes, regional routes, Wisconsin or something.
They're based out of Appleton,
Okay,
their main production.
but then they were, you know,
Yeah.
these days, everybody acquires
Mhm.
everybody else.
Yeah, they've grown through acquisition as well.
Sure,
I think they're putting a place in Texas as well, but a lot of what they go after is economical. Like your kind of your trinket type stuff, but
okay.
you know, they don't, the tchotchkes, exactly.
Gotcha,
yeah,
that's a good word.
When you're walking around a trade show and you get a mouse or a pen and a cheap mug, that's a lot of their business.
Okay,
They don't, a lot of what we do is on field, so the stuff that you see, you turn on football on Saturday and you
Okay.
see Ohio State,
Uniforms and
Maryland.
stuff, yeah.
That's what we're doing for them, but it's not doing that type of stuff. Yeah, Under Armour, exactly.
Brother Rice High School.
Yeah, Brother Rice, yeah, yeah.
Can I ask a question? I keep getting to know the end.
We have one more contestant here.
Mr. Chairman, I got a follow-up question as well.
Hi, I'm Maureen Forte, 17429 Loomis Avenue, East Hazel Crest, the corner of 175th. I'm the village trustee of East Hazel Crest and board member for the Chicago Southland Tourism and Bureau. You've answered several of our questions about the drainage. Our concern, I'm on the corner right across the street from the open field where you are. And so when you mention the fact there's no traffic there is plenty of traffic there at night. I thank the Homewood Police Department and the East Hazel Crest Police Department because there's traffic there. The weeds that are there that you all are calling grass or whatever needs to be cut down. Right now, it is mating season for the deer. Right now, I have 2 or 3 deer in my yard. My question is, will you cut that grass down level? Our police department did find a shotgun in the grass over there because 175th Street is going to be a very busy street because, as you know, the casino opens November 7th. So that's 175th. What's going to be done with the traffic? And I appreciate the fact that you're fighting exclusion with inclusion with hiring ex-felons and the disability. But what about the lighting? As you know, if you go over to East Hazel Crest right now, and you've been there at night, it's dark. It's very dark. 175th Street is not East Hazel Crest, it's owned by Homewood. But across the street, one side is Homewood, the other side is East Hazel Crest. We, the constituents, speaking for my constituents, want to know about the lighting. Will you be lighting up stuff? I read over there where you're going to have off-street parking. Where is that going to be? And also, we would like not to have garbage disposals in front because we are still homeowners. That's it. Thanks.
In regards to the lighting, the lighting would be consistent with what's already at the existing office building. I think we're proposing five extra towers across the front of the new building. LED towers, you know, pointing down onto the parking facility. On the building, we do have that sign. It will be illuminated, and on the ground where the existing sign is in front of the existing office building, we're just covering up the sign that's there with that sign as well.
And you know, we have a company that has a apparel business inside of this case press, not to your capacity. And we also had to go through the same thing with them. East Hazel Crest only has about 1,100 residents, and most of them are way over active senior citizens. So our concern is not just with the lighting, we're concerned about the pollution because we're dealing with the sea and railroad. And so pollution and the fumes, because we're dealing with people with disabilities of asthma and everything else. So I would even invite you to come to East Hazel Crest Village meeting to
Sure.
discuss this also.
Okay. Yeah, the fumes, minimal fumes. I mean, it's not screen printing of the 70s. All the stuff has been made eco-friendly. So yeah, all that stuff is very
Yeah,
minimal.
we just have to address the EPA, that's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Real quick, couple, more community development, type questions. What impact is this gonna have on knickknacks?
On what?
Knickknacks.
Well,
It's gonna put them out of business.
no, they're in different, they're in different,
No,
they're way different stuff.
And then, what type of offerings will you have for, HF, and Hillcrest? Yeah, Hillcrest, students, internships, scholarships, anything like, I mean, those are two major high schools in this area.
Yeah, well,
I hear you talk about, the Safer Foundation, which is great,
mhm.
well, high schools need some opportunities as well.
we employ probably 8 right now that came from high school, right out of high school, and now have full-time careers with us. As we move 7 miles away from where we are, Shepherd, Stagg, Andrew won't be as close. So yeah, we'll have those relationships with HR.
Scholarships and internships.
Internships, yeah, definitely, yeah. In regards to knickknacks, I've been doing this for 19 years and I haven't run into them. And actually some of I was a small shop, we were 2,000 square feet. It's taken us, 18, 19 years to get to the spot we're at now. And the way we can help those small shops is by being their production arm. A lot of the stuff that they can't do or they don't want to do, they can still sell because we don't sell direct. We're essentially in the background as a manufacturer supporting small businesses that want to be able to grow or offer other offerings that we can do in-house.
And a question to the board, have you guys informed knickknacks of apparel redefined coming into the?
Wouldn't be in the purview of this board to do that. It's not our role.
Okay.
I just want to say they are aware of it. I sit on the board of directors for the Chicago Southland Tourism Bureau, and we do the trade shows and stuff like that. So knickknack and other places are familiar. I do television. I'm familiar with your work because Four Star Cast and that and some broadway stuff.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Do you know your EPA once approved when you would start building, and if you would fence off that area, because once you start digging, like we were doing with water, the fire hydrants, the animals just start running, and I mean, they run straight to my porch.
We're working with the village right now to work on a timeline to break ground. That's still up in the air.
Well, it really requires.
Yeah.
Bill, did you have any questions or comments?
I have 2 trailing questions. They're very quick. Is there a variance associated with these 2 cases?
There is one modification, and that is the materials.
Are we to vote on it? I notice on the non-residential zoning review, there is a variance checked off.
That would be voted on as part of the development.
Yep, so the they're asking for a couple modifications, you'll find them on page, 77. It's lists, corrugated building materials, reduction of the front yard setback, and then some, allowances for construction across the property line and an existing public utility easement. So those are deviations or modifications from code. They don't follow the same process as a variance. Each one of those just has to meet, at least one of the standards that we put forward for modifications, which are listed in the report there.
Are we voting on those separately, or is that part of the recommended action?
That's part of the
Recommended action?
recommended action for the.
Okay.
development.
That's my last question. On the recommended action, it identifies this as a 6.38 acre site. But on the site plan, it identifies it as a 5.58.
So on the site plan, that's the sixth parcel that we've been in discussion about, doesn't appear to be included in that. And so including all of the parcels, the 6 parcels that are, included for final development, if you include phase 1, phase 2, the entire site that would be subject to the planned unit development, that would be 6.38 acres.
Why isn't that reflected on the site plan, or am I not seeing it?
So looking at the site plan.
My assumption is that the site plan should incorporate everything, correct?
Correct, the area that is shown on the site plan is 5.58 acres. There's, again, there's a 6th parcel on that east side. And there's the total parcel area for all 6 parcels that are included in this is 6.38 acres.
Well, I have to ask you the obvious question, where is that 0.8 acre item listed on the site plan?
What are you talking about when you say the questions of these?
All right, so there's 6 parcels that make up this site, right, by the Cook County, or I guess recorder's office. The one that I'm talking about is the total, it has the outlot A that's been listed, it's been discussed, but that's the one that I'm mentioning on the east side of that property.
So where the park.
That's where the parking lot
And
is.
to the east of the parking lot,
Right,
right,
east of that. So the lot with the berm?
that's what we're talking
Oh,
about.
yeah, see, yeah,
You didn't include
we
that.
didn't include that because we didn't think that was.
We didn't think that was
the
part of
land
it,
that we were
yeah.
getting.
It was not included in the site plan.
Well, I think my understanding about John is that that was not part of the original.
It is part of the land where you see.
Well, I have to ask the director, what
That was
he wants to vote on.
proposed right away at one time.
It was, yeah, part of it, because also the part where that extension of the parking is on the east of the office building was also part of that right away. So what happened was the owners of the office building got part of that land.
Yeah,
And then
vacated.
the rest of it is, I guess, I always have put in the assumption that wasn't part of our area, so that's why it's not on the site.
It's part of it, it's not being, apparently not part of their site, they're not doing.
We're not gonna do anything with what we can certainly add it to.
But we should add it to the approval.
6.38.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have another
Question.
Okay.
Yes.
With the follow.
Yes.
We don't want to include the whole area that you could potentially see any development except happening, so any area that's part of the property, even slightly, could be included as part of that plan development, so the modification. Yeah.
Every lot. Well,
So you've got one,
Yeah.
one item on here is, you've got listed as building expansion, 270 feet by 170 feet. For the building expansion, do you have any time frame as to when that might take place?
best case scenario inside of 3 years. But inside of 3 years,
Inside. of
best
three.
case scenario, yeah, I would love to do it sooner, but it's just really how the business will grow and continue to grow and the requirement for space.
Okay, so, and it's, in reading the material, it's my understanding then the proposed new building you would put up now. And then when the building expansion, you would take out the,
West wall,
that would be the west wall.
correct,
And make it one
correct.
full unit,
It's a knockout wall. It's engineered into the
Right.
pre-engineered building.
okay. Okay, in the meantime, while that building is waiting to be built, what would you do with that blank piece of property? Cut the weeds up.
Yeah. Maintain, but yeah,
Yeah, right.
I
company
just
baseball
clarify that
games.
the weeds are left on purpose because it is a wildlife habitat. So it is, if you notice the way that the village only mows a portion of it, it's to protect the wildlife that is living in there, so close to the preserve. So,
A little surprised there's no way to measure quality here, actually.
Will you tell the deer that are walking across
Stay
that whole
there.
parcel,
stay there.
they can only walk over here? I was amazed at how many deer are back there at night,
Oh, yeah.
walking across 175th Street. It's the only question I have at this point. Anybody else have anything they would like to add? Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned that the weeds are left because of the wildlife, will it still be left once the building is built?
No, I don't know.
Because if not, then why can't it be addressed now?
But what do you mean, I can't get that?
So if it's planned to be shut down once the building is built, is there anything that can be done to address it now and start relocating the wildlife now? Or do you have to wait until the building is built?
Fortunately, there's not really a way to relocate the wildlife, it's mainly insects and.
With motion and activity, they get scared away. I'm just wondering if you're going to address it later, why can't it start being addressed soon?
The village currently still owns the property, and I think it's part of our policy to do that.
Okay.
You know, during the winter time, that whole field is cut down and snow is dumped there. Right now, if you go and look at that field, half of that lot is by the Homewood disposal, all the way up to where his property is mowed down.
That's owned by Homewood as well.
But all that needs to be mowed all the way down. Or put a fence up, put something up there, because I think what's happening when I go back to my meeting, we're gonna probably petition that. Do a petition because the animal, and I know we have nothing to do with this mother nature, but this is made in cities and like the deer, they come from the preserves back there and they run down the street like horse. They will run and jump through my window. Right now, my public works put deer scram all around the area there. And I have a large lot right there, so something has to be done. And that grass is ridiculous. They cut the front of it, but then right behind it, it's just, people are standing back there. Or on a Saturday night, people are fighting. You can pass through there and see where the grass is been pushed down. So it's just something to look at.
Okay.
I hate to get the media out for that, to see the wildlife and stuff, but it's a danger, because in that area, not just the deer, but it's the coyote. The coyotes are there too, so it's Mother Nature, but.
Yeah. Part of it is it's a nature preserve.
I understand, but right now, he's gonna build there, and if you can cut some of that down,
I still don't own the property.
well, when you do own the property.
Okay.
We're gonna petition that because it's a danger to, the kids get up in the morning and they catch the bus, it's dark.
and the animals are out there. We have to do something to save the children, save the children. I'm through with it.
Okay.
My other question is about employment. You said you have about 16 employees.
Correct.
You're hiring how many more?
When we move, potentially, I think we're committing to, if the business can provide for it, I think year 1, 12 additional, year 2, double that. I mean, if things go as planned, we would probably double in size and need the additional, phase 2 in 3 to 5 years.
You said that most of your employees are in Cook County. And
Correct.
20 to 30 miles away.
Mhm.
Will you be focused on hiring from in the community?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we hired,
Oh, the gentleman mentioned the high school.
oh, absolutely, yeah, yeah, we hired whoever wants to work and whoever's qualified and wants to roll with the company. Mhm.
Okay. Anybody else on the board have any other thing they would like to bring up at this point? Or did we cover it all? Member O'Brien, do you have anything else to add?
No.
Member Cap?
So our first, the first, motion in case involves essentially the modifications, and the modifications, number 4 is, utilization of, corrugated, building material. That's correct, right?
Right.
Now, I guess I have some more questions. Is this just a skin, or is there some sort of insulation behind it, or?
Yeah, it'll be insulated to code, probably above code, because the production facility will be heated and cooled. So the R value, I forget the number of the R value, but the cladding goes over obviously steel, skin, ribbing, all that type of stuff, and then there's insulation behind it. The one picture I showed, the white insulation wall that's on the other side of the steel members that connect the big I-beams.
The question for staff is, something like this subject to the purview of the appearance commission?
Yes.
And they haven't,
They will review it when we're talking about the next meeting. That will be October 3rd. And the appearance commission will review the details of the site.
because as I recall, this 3-tiered approach in our zoning ordinance was, I remember Valerie originally intended for the appearance commission to review. So I don't have a problem with that, so.
Okay. Anybody else? Are we ready to make a motion?
We are.
Doing both of these at the same time then, combined, or we
Do you want
one
about
or the other?
If we're gonna do them at the same time, I want to bring something up on the second action, the case 2437. I would like to enshrine as comment number 4 that we explicitly require them to construct a berm along the southern property line and produce a good faith effort to establish a height similar to the neighbor to the west.
What page are you on?
Well, the second
116.
action will be on page 116. Approving case 2437. So I would, for that, like to add item number 4, which enshrines the requirement for a landscape berm along the southern property line to match the existing berm to the west. If the, again, I think there's a little bit of wiggle room, talk to somebody if you need to go a little wider to go a little taller. Does that make sense? Okay.
So then you want to make the motion so you can hear the middle court?
You're modifying it.
Well, what did I say?
Yeah, you.
The berm will be constructed on south property line at a height to match the existing to the west. And it will be, period, it will be suitably landscaped with ground cover.
That bird looks like it has a lot of stuff on it.
If you're saying, volunteer trees, I'm not saying that there aren't, but I'm here to tell you that,
It may not be.
Homewood Disposal did do a rather fine job. I can tell you that the slope of that berm is probably at what they call the angle of repose, and they did invest money in ground cover, crown vetch, periwinkle, whatever, to make it work. So it can be done, that's my point. All right. You guys got that? Suitably landscape.
Got it,
Okay,
got it.
all right. I'm ready to go, two of them at once, right? Two.
Yep.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to recommend approval of case 2432 to permit a planned development for a 6.38 acre site located in the M1 zoning district at 1313 to 1351 West 175th Street with the modifications as proposed, subject to the following conditions. And I'm taking the time out. Those modifications are on page 77, just
78.
and 78 to make everybody aware of that. Item number one, condition number one, completion of consolidation of all 6 parcels of the site prior to issuance of a certificate of occupancy. Condition number two, the 2 public utility easements located between pin number 29-32-101-076 and pin number 29-32-101-047 must be vacated with plans approved by the village engineer prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy. No findings of fact with that. There are.
They're not required.
Okay, so then the second part of this is a motion to approve case number 2437, a site plan review for apparel redefined at 1313 and to 1351 West 175th Street, as proposed in the drawings submitted by Bruce F. Block Architects and Metzen Company Landscape Architecture and PG Enlighten, subject to the following conditions. Number one, a revised landscape plan with the plant materials as proposed by the village arborist shall be submitted prior to the issuance of building permits. An application for lot consolidation of the 6 parcels included on the subject site shall be approved prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy for any building. Number 3, a plat of vacation for outlot A as indicated on the attached plat of survey dated 10/7/2023 shall be approved by the village engineer prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy for any new building. Number 4, a berm will be constructed on the south property line at a height to match the existing berm to the neighbor to the west. It will be suitably landscaped, again, according to a review by the village arborist.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by member Cap, we have a second by member O'Brien. Roll call, please.
Member, sorry.
Bill.
Member Alfonso,
Yes.
member Bransky,
Yes.
member Cap,
Yes.
member O'Brien,
Yes.
Mayor Trujillo.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you all,
Thank
and
you.
good luck.
Can I help you carry a couple things down here? Oh, we'll open you an old business here. And then, we did have some. Terry, we still have a whole new business, right?
Oh,
We
we
didn't
did not,
adjourn yet.
yeah, you're right. You're better.
Can I help you carry anything? Great. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Daniel.
Thank you.
Anything else for us, Angela? You and our next meeting will be?
We have one case on September 28th.
Okay.
I think I'm.
What kind of a case?
It is a, it's interesting, it is a property that is on Betsy and Olive that is zoned currently commercial. But it's a house, it's a residence, it was, I believe, rezoned as a result of the 1999 comprehensive plan. In 1986 comprehensive plan is shown as residential. So they're asking that it be rezoned to residential so that they can sell it. Because residential is not permitted at all in the B3 district.
So Max says the brewery asked for a certificate of occupancy.
Yeah, they have read
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those poor people, the flowers have all died.
Yeah.
They-
I
yeah.
After my dog's dead.
What?
We've been afraid about a month.
Wow.
I did report that to them and they are in the process of hiring their landscape maintenance.
Oh, it's just so
crew.
sad. It's like they were ready to go.
And they haven't even opened yet.
So, okay, we're
Do they have an open date?
Did I hear someone mention they had a date for the opening of the casino now?
The casino date is November 11th. And the hotel will be open in January.
Wow.
So we are going to have a pre-casino opening event that all of you will be invited to.
Well.
November 11th. That's
We're
better.
gonna have to get some shirts, PZC, you know.
Embroidered.
Bad.
Yes.
Here you go. We actually ordered staff. They're very nice. Oh, that we ordered them? I didn't realize, I didn't put that together. They've been doing a lot of work for us. They're very good.
All right, since our other member, Mr. Jackson, is not here, who would like to make a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chairman, I have a comment to make.
Oh,
I think we did a good job today.
I think we did.
Okay, so with that
There's a
said,
lot of stuff.
yeah, I like
That's a
to.
lot of stuff. Yeah,
I
I
like-
agree with you.
And
Thank you.
just
Your
to point
numbering-
out, yeah, Noah,
Your numbering system needs something to be done with.
My fault. Sheds.
no, I was gonna say, as usual, it's a very thorough and orderly presentation,
Yes.
so I was able to follow.
But it ended at number page 34,
Right.
and then I
Few
think
pages missing.
37, and then it was page 44 or something.
We
And then it jumped up 78.
We need a print friendly version, so that way each case had one set, or the two cases that went
That's
together
what
had
you were
one set of
talking about.
attachments.
Huh.
So there were two sets of attachments, but I
Okay.
took one out because they were identical to one another for each
Got it,
case.
okay, that
So they're
makes all
all
the
put
sense.
together, that's why the numbering moved around across.
Okay,
the
so,
site.
Mr. Chairman, I would like
Yes.
to move to adjourn us this evening.
Yay.
Yeah, we have a second by member,
Bransky.
Sure.
Sure.
Alright.
Roll call.
Aye.
All
Aye,
right.
I have a question for member Cap.
Thank you all.
So,
Thank
Member
you.
Cap, since the trustee and a board member from East Hazelcrest was here and harassed us about weeds across the street from their town.
Where's
Will
the-
we be going to
Is this
their meeting on the redevelopment of the Calumet